Okay, now the next class, not really classification. It is the karma pertaining to the effects. Karma pertaining to the effects. What does the karma do to us? Whether virtuous or non-virtuous karma, what does the karma do to us in our, the future lifetimes? This is one thing which is very important. The karma, be it virtuous, non-virtuous. There are two, of course, out of the many effects, there are two effects that I like to share with you, which are so important effects. One effect, the effect of the result, which shares in common with the karma. One, the result which shares in common with the karma pertaining to the experience, and another one, the effect of the karma sharing the nature with the karma pertaining to the action, and pertaining to the experience too. That is so important. Okay, let's say that when we just, for no reason, we just use harsh words towards somebody. We use harsh words towards somebody, and then what happens to the other person? Other person feels hurt, right? So that is the karma. That is the karma that you are accumulating. That you use harsh words. The negative karma of using harsh words. So with this, we look at the immediate effect. Other person will feel hurt, and particularly if the other person, they did not do anything wrong towards you, and then the other person will feel hurt. When feeling hurt, what happens? Do you agree with me? When feeling hurt, the person's glow, the facial glow, disappears. You agree with me? Right? When the person is very happy, there's a glow, natural glow coming. When the person is happy, there's a glow coming. The moment the person feels hurt, that happiness disappears. The glow over the face disappears. So now, this is karma that is accumulated. This karma of hurting somebody or using harsh words towards somebody. Effect next time pertaining to the experience. Pertaining to the experience is that you will be born without the glow on your face. Right? Even if you are very happy, sometimes, even if you are very happy, some people may look at you and they may think that, particularly if they don't know you, they think that you are upset. You're very happy. You're getting it. These things do happen. Right? So people who know you know you so well, for them it's fine. But then the other people, they meet you, they think that you are something wrong with you, or you're upset with somebody, you're upset, so they don't dare to talk to you, they are little cautious of you. This is because the glow is not there, because of the negative karma that is accumulated of using harsh words towards somebody else. And then likewise, splitting somebody, the slander, the divisive words. With this, in the future lifetimes, experience-wise, what other people they go through, you will go through the same thing. So for no reason, right? This is what we can see. Say for example, the very decent husband and wife, really decent husband and wife, and very decent, the very friendly brothers, sisters, and two brothers, two sisters, or brother, sister. And then for no reason, out of somewhere, then they become split and divided. Very corrosive split happens, right? And for no reason. And if it is for very concrete reasons, okay, that's fine. But for no reason, somebody says something, and then there's total misunderstanding happens, and then one flares up all these thoughts, and then there's nobody who happened to bridge you to, and then it becomes worse like this. This is all because of the one's own negative karma of splitting, using divisive words, or the slandering others in the previous lives, right? Okay. So that is something that we really need to take care of in terms of the experience. Same. So therefore, be watchful how to refrain from the negative karmas. Every time, say when you do something harmful to somebody else, then what is the effect? If you cannot understand it, it's easy. If somebody else does the same thing to me, what is my reaction? I'll feel sad, right? I'll feel dejected. And then the glow will stop, right? And then in many cases, when the situation is quite severe, okay, just for your little digression, what happens is that say, the young ones, just graduating from high school, because they have not seen the world, right? Their mind is very tender, can easily go into shock and depression. Right? Maybe most of you have gone through that experience. In the high school, life is so easy, your parents always take care of you, and suddenly you go to the college or university, you expect the same thing, and it's very different, and the world is not as kind, tender, the mother coming to pick you up, not like this, right? It's very tough, competitive, and then you don't expect that such things can happen. Then you just for 2-3 days you are just lost into shock, right? Okay, so what I do is that even if I'm in a very, very busy conference, right? Busy conference or meeting with somebody, very important meetings happening, if I get a phone call, okay, this may be a little confidential, right? If I get a phone call and I'll look at the number or the name, if it is from somebody who just graduates from class 12, high school, right, and need my help, which they call me means they need my help, right? Particularly graduating, they need my help. So even if I'm in a very important meeting, I make sure that I pick up the phone, because the person will feel dejected. The mind is like a very, what do you call it? The bristle, the glass easily can break, right? And if the call is from the third year, the BA, BSc, BCom, whatever, third year, or MSc, masters, doing masters, then if I'm in a meeting, I'll not pick up. This person's already experienced. He knows that, okay, either he must be busy or he doesn't want to pick up my phone. It's fine. Whereas what do you call it, fresh graduates from high school, they'll be shocked, right? They'll be shocked, and they can go through trauma. Yeah, the young ones, they can go through trauma. It's very dangerous. So therefore, the parents should be very careful at that stage. Particularly graduating from high school, they don't pressurize too much, right? They are going through a very difficult phase of their life, and this is something that parents should be exceptionally careful. Okay, so the point is that in terms of experience, say, when you reflect on this, do I really want to have that kind of experience of dejection, experience of pain, experience of loss, experience of loneliness? Do I want to go through this? No. If I don't want to go through this today, no, of course not. Tomorrow, no. Next life, no. If the answer is no, don't do those things, don't do those actions which will potentially give rise to such experiences in you the next life, in the future lives. So what are these actions? Actions, very simple. If somebody does that to you, what makes you feel that? That is action that you don't do to others. A simple step. So that is pertaining to the karma whose actions are similar to the karma pertaining to the experience. Then the next was even more important. Next one is even more important, right? The karma whose effects or whose results are similar to the karma with respect to the action. Habit with respect to the habit, with respect to the action. Right? These are the same. Okay, that is extremely important. We should be so careful with this, knowing this. So therefore the Buddha said in Dhammapada, we must read Dhammapada once in a while. We must read that. Dhammapada, right? We must read that once in a while. This will give us a feeling what's a real dharma. Then on top of that you add the Bodhisattva path. Right? Dhammapada will give you a real flavor of what dharma is. Then on that basis, then the compassion element must be added. On top of that, or compassion meaning the bodhicitta element should be added to this. Okay, so in Dhammapada, Buddha said that even though you have a brilliant eyes, but if there is no light, you cannot see what is around you. Even though you have a brilliant eyes, but if there is no light, you cannot see what is around you. Likewise, even though you have a brilliant mind, if you have no information, you will not learn anything. You will not know what is right, what is wrong. Even though you have brilliant intelligence, if you don't have the learning, then you will not know what is right, what is wrong. Right? Okay. So therefore, this learning is so important. When we learn this, okay, so the karma, there's one set of karma, not really a set of karma. A karma is something, there is an effect, one of which is similar with the cause karma pertaining to the action, pertaining to the habit. It's habit building. So what we do is, for example, let's say in this life, I said, okay, meditate emptiness. This is so important, you learn so much. Meditate emptiness, so important. And then you start doing it. And then one day, okay, let me do it tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll do additional 5 minutes. Right? So you are doing, every day you are doing like 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And today, okay, I'm a little tired today. Tomorrow I will do additional. And tomorrow, forget about the additional. Even the 10 minutes that you're supposed to do, even that is gone. Right? So then what happens? The tendency, the habit, say, this life, you delayed. You just slowly, give us a brush that aside, right? And slowly become a little lazy, right? Not doing what is actually helpful to you. So this karma, next you will take this to the next life, whereby the same you end up in the same kind of situation where the effect of which is that you tend to delay. You tend to say, I'll do tomorrow, procrastination. Right? Tomorrow. That is because of your past life habit that you built. So now you are experiencing the effect of the karma with which it shares the nature of procrastination. Whereas, he taught about what from Nagarjuna's text, something like the word suffering and the 4 causes, and how the suffering. So the text is not there. So it is in my. So you say you are in the living room, and your library is somewhere, bedroom or wherever. It is there. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. Right? The book is there in the library, and the library is a little far away. Not really too far away. You just have to stand up. So you don't want to stand up. Okay, I'll read it tomorrow. This you are going to take a habit. This habit you will take with you. Right? So be it a small thing, say if it's something very serious matter and you are very tired, okay, then they can be simple. But the small things, don't easily give into the laziness. Otherwise, this will build a very bad habit. Likewise, for example, say the 10 non-virtuous actions. Anything you do, for example, killing. Next life, killing is very easy. Telling lies. Next life, telling lies becomes very easy because that's a habit that you brought from your past life. Right? So in this life, while we meet with these brilliant teachings of the Buddha, the Narada Masters, right? The great Narada Masters, see how much we can try our best not to build bad habits. Not building the bad habits, building the good habits, you are undoing the bad habits. Right? So then for some it's very strange. For some people, things, oh, it's so difficult, I feel so tired, right? And for some people, they do it very easily, right? So what's the difference? Because, look, what's the difference? Tired meaning, there's a feeling of unpleasant feeling coming. We started yesterday, we started with this. Unpleasant feelings coming to you. This unpleasant feeling forbids you from engaging in this good action. You're getting it? So whereas, say, for example, say how many of you attempted to learn Tibetan language? Okay, how successful are you? To even say one complete sentence, right? If you are to say the same sentence say good sentence, 10 sentence, your energy will be so much consumed. You agree with me? 10 sentences, you have to make 10 sentence, complete sentence, whole energy will be consumed. The lunch that we ate, finish. Because so much energy is used, because that this is not what you're familiar with. You're getting it? Now you speak Mandarin, you speak English, right? Saying 10 sentences, does it exhaust you? No, this is just nothing. Why? You speak 10 sentences, forget about 10 sentences, even 5 sentences, complete sentence, you may start sweating, right? Exhaustion. Okay, so why the Mandarin and English you speak 10, 20, 100,000 sentences, still you are not exhausted? Why? Because the ease is there. For the Mandarin, for English, for you, for the Singaporeans, Mandarin, English, or the Hindi, right? There's ease. There's ease. But some of the Chinese, even they don't speak Mandarin. Some of the Indians, they don't speak Hindi, right? Huh? Tamil, right? Okay, so there's a ease. Whereas with the foreign language, you are learning for the first time, you don't feel the ease. When there's no ease, you have to struggle. When you struggle, energy is consumed. When the energy is consumed, you feel tired. When you feel tired, you don't want to do it. You're getting it? So therefore, the point is that the karma, the karmic operation here, so the concept of karma, if you know this so well, then, for example, say they are very interesting stories. It's very funny. Some people, when they go into negative actions, for example, killing, bullying, and so forth, they could readily do it. They don't feel the unease at all. And there was one great saint, I think from the Himachal and the India, one great saint. And when he was very young, he was somehow he was a part of the gangsters. Not that he deliberately went there. The gangsters, they want the youngsters. They recruited, right? And then forcefully he became a part of this gangster. And the gangster, they started to teach him how to first steal things, right? And then not only stealing, then to rob in the daylight, to rob the people. Rob the people means you have to literally go there and fight with the people and snatch things like this. And then in some cases, you have even, the beat and all these things. So he was taught all these things. And then slowly, initially they were with the seniors. And then when they become a little expert, then they were sent on their own. So he was on their own. And one day he was about to beat somebody, right? Beat somebody. I think whether it was his dream or in the very daylight, he got a feeling that there was a tiger jumping over his face, like this, tiger jump. The moment he's about to beat somebody, he just had this experience. Tiger. Every day it was happening like this. So he did not dare to do anything, negative things. Later he became such a highly, highly great hermit. Right? Incredibly enlightened hermit. Okay, so whereas for some people, right, they engage in negativities, no tigers jumping. Right? For some, the moment they go into negative action, tiger is jumping. For some people, they start going negative actions, although tigers may not be jumping in the daylight, but in the dream, very disturbed dreams happen, right? And they do something good dreams happen. About to do something bad, again. So these are the indications. So why? These are all because of the past karma. So where somebody is so used to doing good things, virtuous things, in the future lifetimes, because of wrong directions, wrong teachers, wrong guidance, when somebody is to do something negative, then these positive forces, they will manifest in the form of all these indications, omens. Right? Okay. In fact, I remember myself when I was the class, I think 10. Class 10 is like age 16, 17. Then, so there, because I was physics introduced to class 9, 10, introduced to physics, where all these questions, how, why, when, all these were taught. Then I started applying these questions to Buddhist philosophy. Right? What little we learned as a young child, teenager, I started to learn, they asked these questions too. And then, very lucky that I have one teacher who was the Tibetan teacher and also a highly learned in Buddhist philosophy, psychology and so forth. Had it been the case that the teacher was just into Tibetan language and not in philosophy and so forth, then I don't know what kind of plight I might have met. So I started to ask questions, all these, what I've learned as on the basis of blind faith since childhood, I started to ask questions. And then many of the questions I did not get answers. Because I asked this question randomly to all the elders. And it doesn't mean all the elders are philosophers. So I did not get answers. And luckily, all the questions that I started to ask, like on the Buddhist philosophy or the Buddhism, then the physics, chemistry and so forth, there were two teachers who would give me the most satisfactory answers. One is my Tibetan teacher, who gives me all the very rich answers to all the questions related to philosophy. I don't know whether it's philosophy or not, but I was asking about Buddhism, and he was giving me very rich answers, very satisfying. And the other one was my physics teacher. My question on physics. So these two teachers. So because I started to ask questions to this, then slowly my mind was becoming a little, skeptic towards Buddhism. Right? Particularly say when many elders, they could not give answers, they could not give satisfactory answers. So my mind started to become a little skeptic. Then I started to have very, very bad dreams, terrible dreams. One after the other, one night after the night, terrible dreams. One night when I was just going to this skepticism more and more, one night I had a dream where I was in the hostel room for two boys in Bangar. Then from the window, I could see that two eyes are coming. For sure, ghost. Two eyes are coming. Very scary. Then just next here on the top there was a small altar. So in the dream, just instinctively, I went towards the altar to take refuge, to hide under the altar, and instantly the altar was covered by a black cloth, saying that no refuge. Right? You don't believe in these things, so no refuge. Covered with black cloth. All sorts of such things happening. Just days after days is happening like this. So what I'm saying is that these things can happen. So past karmic effects can be happening in the form of, say, when you've been, okay. So the point is that what we have to do is see how much, the point is, if you don't want to experience the pains that we're going through in this life, do you want the same thing in the next life? No. If not, then don't engage in those causes. Ye dharma hetu prabhava. All these, they don't arise randomly, they arise from the causes. Don't engage the causes. What causes? Doing harms on others. Never engage in harms on others. You're getting it? Okay. Questions are bound to be there, right? If we don't become street smart, if you're not street smart, then people can take advantage of you. If you're always compassion, people take advantage of you. These questions are there, right? So if somebody likes to ask me towards the end, I'll be very happy. Who is going to volunteer to ask this question? Here. Your name?
Yen.
Okay, Yen. Promise to ask this question. Okay. Remind me, right?
Yes.
Remind me of this question. Okay. So with this, the point is that now one thing that is that whatever we learn from Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist psychology, about karma and so forth, you are bound to have questions pertaining to your real life experiences. These questions must be addressed. You're getting it? These questions must be addressed. And don't feel that, okay, is this religious, it may become too sacrilegious if I ask these questions. Don't worry about these things. You must have these questions addressed. Otherwise, right, whatever you are learning will remain very shallow. To see that they make sense, then the conviction will come to you. When the conviction comes to you, then you feel like doing these things. You feel like refraining the non-virtuous comments and so forth. Okay, this one thing. Then the next point, which is the very important, is okay. Okay, so the one thing that I'd like to share with you, of course, most of you must be already aware of that, is the heaviness and the lightness of the karmas. Heaviness and the lightness of the karma. So, okay, maybe let me just jump into the main point. The point is the discussion on the free will versus law of karma. You getting it? Free will versus the law of karma. How to reconcile these two? This debate between the free will and the law of karma. Okay. If law of karma is efficacious, then whatever we're experiencing should be because of the previous karma. If that is because of the previous karma, then we don't have the freedom. Everything's decided by the previous karma, so we don't have the freedom, right? If we don't have the freedom, there's no free will. So where is the free will? If there's no free will, then hey, don't do negative karmas, do positive karma. Why are you saying all these things? I'm already decided, fixed by the previous karma, right? So this dilemma is there. This is a huge dilemma. You're getting it? This is a huge dilemma, not only for Buddhist philosophy, not only for the concept related to the law of karma, but also with any discipline pertaining to not really physics, pertaining to neuroscience, right? Then pertaining to any religious the philosophy, right? And pertaining to law and order of the country. This question remains. The free will versus the law of the nation. The free will versus neuroscience. The free will versus, say, the safeguarding the ecology and the environment, and so forth. Right? Okay. So this debate was with physics also. So Albert Einstein was more into predeterminism. was more into predeterminism, right? Because physics, except for quantum physics, the physics is explained on the basis of the cause-effect relationship. What's happening here is because of this cause. This is because of that cause. This is how cause-effect relationship. The moment you accept cause-effect relationship, then the free will becomes questionable. Right? Okay. So what happened was that I remember. Okay. By the way, how many of you have come across this debate, free will versus the law of karma? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of you are interested in this debate? This really is something interesting debate. Right? How does the Nalanda masters would give the answer? How many are interested to know this? This is a big debate, right? Okay. So what happened was there was one American lady who was one of the students of one of my teachers, incredibly great logician, philosopher, practitioner, and the Geshe colleague of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He passed away already. And highly, highly respected, even by the big abbots of the various monasteries. They respect him. Venerable Kensur Getembaden Rinpoche. So, this lady, American lady, what she did was that she is Buddhist. She became Buddhist, and her husband was a physicist. And then she thinks that, okay, with physics he is good, with Buddhism I'm better. This was her attitude. So she was pushing her husband to become Buddhist. Right? And the husband, wonderful. What he said is that, okay, if you really want me to become a Buddhist, I will ask you one question. You give me this answer, you give me a satisfactory answer, and then I'll become a Buddhist. She's so happy. So because the question is on Buddhism, right? On Buddhism, and with Buddhism, it is my area. This was her. Then she said, yes, she's so happy now my husband is going to become Buddhist. Okay, yes, I'm ready. He said, Buddhism accepts the law of karma. She said, yes, of course. And Buddhism also accepts free will. She said, yes, of course. How can free will be explained if you accept law of karma? How do you resolve this? Law of karma means what is happening today is because of the previous karma. That karma is because of the previous karma. Like this, it is predeterminism. With predeterminism, there's no rule for free will. Where's free will? You give me this answer, and that very moment, I'll become a Buddhist. She has no answer. So what she did, she sent an email to my teacher. Right? So this is a complication happening now. Please give an answer to this question. Right? Okay, so I was just in my 20s, very young boy, right, in the monastery. And so, wow, this is a wonderful question from a physicist, right? Now this question is, if I bring it to my teacher may ignore, but it's coming from, his student from America, right? Because I'm a student myself, debating all these things, so he said, this is your job. But somebody, he may feel more sympathetic. So I'm so keen to know what this answer is. So I printed this question, right? And then I brought it to my teacher. He said, sir, this is a question from the student, this. Not a question, this is a letter. I just, Dorji, read it. So I read the letter. And there's a question there. What's the question? Question, free will, and I was so excited to listen to what the answer is. After listening to all the questions, he said, Dorji, give some answer. Okay. Okay. So now with this, the point is that they say, okay, so for this debate, one, the law of karma. Law of karma, what we learned earlier, yesterday, was that it is the intention. from the 5 points? 5 omnipresent mental factors. We talked about the 5 omnipresent mental factors, right? Those of you who were absent yesterday, I would suggest you to the same, if you can listen to the recordings, right? Okay, of the 5 omnipresent mental factors, the workings of the mind, where there's a mind, technically we call it primary mind, or otherwise in loose sense, where there's a mind, there should be these 5 mental functions, always there. On the basis of these 5 mental functions, we talk about the 5 mental factors. Like the government, with the different functions, we talk about the different departments, or in Singapore, what's that? Departments or ministries. Same, on the basis of different functions of the government, different ministries are allocated. Likewise for the mind, on the basis of different functions, different mental factors are allocated. So of the innumerable mental factors, innumerable functions, there are 5 functions which are always present with any mental operation. Any mind, there are these 5 functions. So what are these 5 functions? What are these 5 mental factors? Number 1, contact, attention, discrimination, feeling, intention. Wonderful, amazing. Okay, these 5 mental factors or the mental functions are always there, right? And then finally, for example, let's say I want to pick up this flower or not is determined by, okay, tell me, am I going to pick this flower up or not? Am I going to touch this flower or not?
Depends on your intention.
Huh?
Depends on your intention.
Very good. Depends on my intention. If you say that, yes, you will, I will not do it. And if you say, no, you will not touch it, I will deliberately touch it. Right? This was exactly what was happening at the time, debate between Aryadeva and Buddha Ghosh, I think Buddha Ghosh, the Aryadeva, the disciple of Aranagarjuna, and his competitor, the non-Buddhist competitor. 2 of them, they were debating, they were having all these debates going there. It's a very interesting story. And then finally, the non-Buddhist teacher, what he did was that he grabbed a bird in his hand and asked Aryadeva, tell me, this bird inside my hand, is this bird dead or not? Dead or alive? Right? If you have clairvoyance, so debating or competition with clairvoyance, competition with the logical skills and so forth. So what is it? Is it dead or alive? Then Aryadeva said that it depends on the degree of your compassion. If your compassion is strong, this is alive. Right? If the compassion is not there, you will die. Right? If I say it's alive, you'll squeeze it. Because you don't have compassion. If you have compassion, even if I say that it's alive, you cannot squeeze it, because the compassion will not make you to squeeze it. Right? So the point is that this is the intention. It is not 100% mechanically decided. It is not mechanically decided. There is one thing which decides, that is known as the intention. That intention decides all your actions. You're getting it? That intention decides all the actions. And what makes this intention to touch the flower? Or say, if I ask you, will I touch the flower? If you say yes, I'll not touch it, because I feel happy to challenge you. A pleasant feeling is coming. Pleasant feeling is coming in me when I challenge you. You're getting it? So pleasant feeling, this pleasant feeling makes me to go for this action of touching it, not touching it, so forth. Now, if there are two feelings, right? For example, say if I touch this flower, you slap me once. If I don't touch it, you slap me twice. What will I do? I'll touch it, so that less evil is better than the greater evil. Go for the less evil. Although there's no pleasant feeling coming in both cases, no pleasant feeling. Now you have to choose. Less pleasant feeling is less unpleasant feeling is a pleasant feeling with respect to the greater unpleasant feeling. You're getting it? This is how our mind works. So therefore now say for the karma, we should check with the intention. Because intention is directly which connects with the karma. All the negative karma, virtuous karma, they are all directly connected with this intention. Make a habit of this intention with virtue, make this intention habit. Intention to make it become habit. How to make it a habit? That is determined by this intention is determined by the feelings, right? Feelings. And feelings are determined by the discrimination. These are all connected to each other. They're connected to each other. So, to make sure that this intention help others. Okay. 2012. Professor Paul Ekman, who was a world-renowned psychologist and who was actually a microfacial expert. So there, just look at your face. From there, he could see what's going in your mind. With your facial expressions, from there he could figure out what is going in your mind. Right? So he's being invited to train the police to arrest the terrorists. Right? The terrorists wanting to harm others, wanting to destroy, this is that and so forth, what's going in their mind, he could figure out from the facial expression, micro-facial expression. He's expert on that. Okay, so 2012, he had an interview with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, long interview. So anyway, for your information, there's one book already several years ago. That book is The Emotional Awareness, the dialogue between His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Professor Paul Ekman. So it's a beautiful the book. And then during that interview, the 2012 interview, he asked His Holiness one question, that why some people with no religious beliefs, right? If there's a fire, if a house is on fire, and then there's someone there trapped in the fire, then some people they run away. Some people they jump into the fire to rescue the others, risking one's own life. And these people, they are not necessarily religious people. Religious people mean, oh, if I do that, then I'm doing that for God. God will be very happy, right? Or I do that, then I commit a good karma, right? So that in my next life I will not suffer the good karma, or so forth. But in many cases, these people, they are totally not religious. But how they act is they act so spontaneously to jump into the fire to rescue people. So he asked His Holiness as to what could be the reason? What could be the reason that these people act so altruistically, spontaneously, that too? What made them to act so spontaneously? And then before His Holiness gave the answer, he said that, I know what Your Holiness is going to say. It's the previous karma. Don't include karma. Don't bring in the point of karma. Tell me any other answer. Right? Okay. So what I see that this thing is there. And interestingly, he says something else later on. So after the interview, I went with him to his guest house, and then we had some chats, and then he says something very interesting. So there, what is happening is that this person who acted so, spontaneously, jump into the fire, what is happening is, there's two choices. And jump into the fire to rescue the person, or run away and let the person die. Two options, only two options. With the two options for this person, what is happening is that the prospect of running away, the feeling is very unpleasant. Right? And prosper jumping and risking one's life, the pleasant is unpleasant, but less unpleasant than prosper running. So of the two, spontaneously, the body reacts to choose the less evil, less painful one. So he jumped. Okay. Now the question is, why for some people the process of running gives them the more easy feeling? Why for him the process of running gives the unpleasant feeling? Why? That for sure is because of the past. You're getting it? So the point is that this pleasant, unpleasant feeling is triggered by the discrimination. Discrimination, seeing the prospect of somebody dying, the prospect of I'm in risk. You're getting it? Prospect of me escaping. These discriminations, then these discriminations, a particular set of feeling is retrieved. Pleasant, unpleasant. That is determined by how you tie this discrimination, particular discrimination. If I jump, then this person will be saved. I'll be risked, but this person will be saved. If I run away, I'll be saved, but this person will die. Right? Of the two, then the unpleasant feeling is more when you think of running away. Right? So what made this person to have this unpleasant feeling coming with a particular discrimination? That is because of the past habits. You're getting it? Past habits. So in the end, Professor Paul Ekman gave me an answer. Gave an answer. His own the discovery. He said that a pleasant feeling is the pleasant feeling is coming to the person of the two, say jumping and running away. Jumping gives a more pleasant feeling than the running away. This is what he said. This could be the reason for him to act to the altruistically jump into the fire. And then I agreed with him. And then we invited him. We also invited him to give a talk in the Tibet house. And we had some, say, during the end, towards the end, we had some discussions, question answers. So then I started to do more exploration or research on this part. So all this what I'm sharing with you is all the outcome of that. All the outcome. Then so many years, now 2012 till now, like 7 years. All these, the thought processes, all what the text said, all these things I was compiling in my thought. So this is all the result. This is amazing. And then the whole Buddhist psychology becomes so meaningful. Right? So this intention to jump is because of the feeling. This feeling is because of this discrimination. And this discrimination conjoined with the feeling, how that particular feeling is retrieved by this discrimination, because of the past habits. Then this connects to the past. It's amazing, wonderful psychology. Okay. So with this, okay. Okay, so now the point is, so this is how the karmas operate. Karmas operate. Now knowing this, how the karma operates, the next question is, they say the heaviness and the lightness of the karma. Heaviness and the lightness of the karma. So how they say with the negative karma, with the vicious karma. So when does the karma become the heavy? Okay. When does the karma become not heavy is all determined by the 4 factors. The 4 factors, which we're going to study a little later, 4 factors. And then so on that basis, finally what decides is, of the 4 factors, one is the intention, because the karma finally is the intention. With this intention means that I want to do it, I don't want to do it. That is intention. So this intention is the free will. You're getting it? This intention is the free will. You're getting it? Let's say, so so karma is a very tricky. When you speak of the karma, on the one hand, we see that karma is what? Predeterministic. Because whatever is happening now is because of the previous karma. That karma is because of the previous karma. Like this, it becomes predeterministic. If it is predeterministic, there's no free will. Then on the other hand, what is karma? It's the intention. Intention is the free will. For example, let's say, am I going to touch this flower or not? You cannot decide. Nobody can mathematically calculate it. You're getting it? That is the free will. That is a free will. Right? Okay, now with this, say, the karma. Your name?
Yen.
So Yen will remind me a little later about this, the full debate. Right? Now the thing is that oftentimes the people abuse the concept of karma. Right? Okay, in the school, particularly in the colleges, they don't go to class. Right? And the mother so worried, no, my son, particularly the sons. In Singapore, I don't know, maybe the girls also, I'm not too sure. No, don't go to the pubs all the time. Right? So the boy or the girl, whoever, always goes to the, and then, no, you fail. No, mom, don't worry. I'll make sure that I'll pass. And finally, in the exam, failed. Failed. And now you failed. Mom, what should I do? It's my karma. Right? It must be a very negative karma. Right? I tried to study. Something is not happening. It's the negative karma. It's the karma ripening. What do you do, mom? Right? So this is where people abuse the karma. And what should the mom say? Well, mom is also Buddhist. Right? Mom also learned about the karma. Right? And the mom is not. That is my karma. Right? What is happening to me is because of the karma. And mom said yes. Mom has to say yes. Right? Okay. So which means the mom's understanding of karma is naive. And your abuse of the karma is also because of the naivety of your understanding of the karma. It's all because of the naivety. Now, say the karma. Say, when can you really say that is karma? That I do not do well in exams because of the karma. When can you say this? Is that you study so well, you are prepared so well, right? And then the last minute, when in the process when you sit for the exam, suddenly you have a headache, you start vomiting, right? Then you can't do anything, right? For example, it happened to me. I remember there was a very, very important exam, not high school. It's a class 10 exam. It's like the exam deciding one of the national exam. So there, what happened was that there were two papers. In one day, there were two papers. We finished the first paper, and me and my friend went to the forest to study. Right? And my friend, he is maybe 1 or 2 years older to me. And then in the forest, this boy, he found the seeds. He said, this is edible seed. And I trusted him. And he looked for 4, 5, 6 small pieces like sunflower seeds, not big, not that big. Small seeds, like 4, 5, 6 pieces. Okay, 4, 5, 6 pieces. And I ate about, I think, 2 or 3 pieces. And he ate about 4 or 5 pieces. Then after a few minutes, tongue was burning. And then suddenly I was feeling dizzy, and then throwing up, vomiting, and then fever. Then just after 15 minutes, there was an exam, the next paper. And I was vomiting. Then I just craved for the cold sensation because it was becoming so hot, right? And I could not walk properly. And he couldn't also walk properly. And both of us are in the forest. So from there we have to go to the school again. Slowly we went there, and usually the Tibetan paper, there was the Tibetan paper, I remember that. That was one of my strengths. pen and paper. And I did not have any energy. So all the answers I knew. But I did so quickly because I don't have the energy to do it so quickly, right? And then usually in 3 hours I don't really finish the papers. Somehow I have to struggle. And then that time I finish everything before 1 hour. I simply crave that the teachers let me go out. They will not allow you unless it rings the first hour. So then the first hour it rang and I left. And vomiting, all this for 3 days continuously. Right? Okay, that is the karma, right? That I made with this boy. There are so many classmates, and of these classmates that going with him is a karma. And then he finding these seeds is a karma. And then he somehow getting some idea that this is something eatable, it's also karma. That's a real karma, right? Otherwise, always going to the pubs, and finally you for the exam, what you do, karma, that is just excuse. Okay, so now the point is karma for that, how to, but then the question is that not karma, that the person failed? Having failed is not a good experience. Not a good experience is a result of the bad karma. Right? Is it not the karmic effect? Yes, no? Huh?
Yes.
If you say no, which means that you don't believe in karma. If you say yes, you become like that mother. What would he give? What answer would he give? For that we have to know that karma, there are two types. Definite karma and uncertain karma. A definite karma and uncertain karma. We have to know this concept so that nobody can abuse the concept of karma. Definite karma and uncertain karma. Definite karma means a very heavy karma, extremely heavy karma, and the uncertain karma is the weak karma. Right? Okay, uncertain karma. For example, the boy or the girl who always goes to the pub, not studying at all, always going to the pub and find an exam, failing in the exam, that is for sure the result of an uncertain karma. The result of uncertain karma ripened, right? Whereas somebody studying so well prepared and find last minute something bad happened, like sickness and so forth, which is out of your control, that is known as a definite karma too. Okay, so in what way? So, but then even though it was uncertain karma, still it's a karmic effect. So uncertain karma can be interjected. Uncertain karma can be interjected very easily. Definite karma can be interjected very difficult to interject, to interrupt the flow of the karma. Say you hit the arrow, you pull the arrow and release it, and the arrow flies. If the arrow is moved with such a force, right, to stop it is almost impossible. It is not totally impossible, but almost impossible. Whereas if it is just a toy arrow, somebody who is skilled can easily grab the arrow, even though it's in the air, right? So uncertain karma can be interrupted. The flow of the uncertain karma can be interrupted from ripening as a result. But the definite karma is very difficult to interrupt in the flow of the ripening of its karma. Okay, so the example that I like to give you is that usually, one example that I give is a toy train. A toy train meaning quite a big train, but you can stop this, and it is running. It is running, and there is a baby there, a toddler there on the track, and you are next to the toy train, right? And if you let the toy train run, it will just crush the baby. Whereas if you hold it, you can hold it and stop the toy train. Whereas if it is a proper train, MRT, proper huge train, so particularly the huge trains, even the MRT is not really huge. The huge trains that you find in India and other places, which run long distance, right? There you have to stop the brake at what, like 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers ahead. Otherwise, there's no emergency brake. You cannot stop the train right there. You have to stop it 2-3 kilometers ahead. Okay, so if there is such a big train running, I'm next to this train, and the child is there, like, say, 20 yards. The train is already there. What should I do? I cannot do anything. I'm not fast as a train. I cannot hold this train, and the train will crash. So that is the example of a definite karma operating, where we cannot do as much. Whereas the toy train is running, it's right next to me, I can hold it and save the child. Likewise, say this boy who's always going to the pubs, right? He has actually both karmas. The karma to pass the exam and karma to fail the exam. Both are there. Right? So when the boy is not studying, always going to the pubs, there the boy is actually stopping the flow of the positive karma of passing the exam and letting flow the negative karma of failing the exam. You getting it? So this flow can easily be interrupted by studying well. By studying well, this flow of negative karma of failing the exam can be stopped. You getting it? So this, when we don't understand this, we just solidify everything as a karma. Then people can easily misuse the concept of the karma. Okay. Okay. Ian, what is the question?
If I am compassionate and love all beings 100% and I give freely without expecting anything, I fear that I will be vulnerable and the other person will take advantage of me. How can I be more street smart so that I have more strength and conviction to continue wanting to be compassionate?
Okay, is this a question? Even the audience forgot the question.
Is this the correct question?
Is this question? Huh? Okay, this is longer.
Did I make a mistake with the question?
It's not a mistake. The question is how to address the dilemma of free will and karma, right? His one is longer one. Huh? No, this one. Okay, yes. Yes, Ian, then.
One more time?
Yeah.
Okay. If I am compassionate, I fear that the other person will take advantage of me.
Okay.
How can I be more street smart so that I have more conviction to continue being compassionate?
Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay. I don't know whether I forgot it, whether the audience forgot it, I don't know. Okay, this came up. This for surely came up. Okay. So these things can happen where, say practice compassion, practice love and so forth, where they commit to positive karma. But then if you engage in positive karma, always refrain from negative karma, positive karma, then particularly at the workplace, people, they come to know that, okay, now he or she is into Buddhism, right? And then went to the karma class, right? Okay, then start taking advantage of you, right? Taking advantage. Okay, these things can happen. These things can happen, and also these are the questions, whether it happens or not, these are questions which can potentially come in your mind. So what should I do? In other words, if I try to be compassionate towards others, people take advantage of me, right? Okay, this is very important. Say, when you do something good and compassionate towards somebody, if somebody takes advantage of that, what is really happening, we have to know this. What is really happening is that the person does not see your act as a compassionate act. The person sees that as an act of softness and the weakness. The person sees you as weak. One, Number two, then the person once starts to take advantage of you and still you show compassion, the person sees you as a stupid guy. Because you don't know that I'm taking advantage of you. You're getting it? So the person sees you as weak and the person sees you as a foolish. Two. So if somebody is weak, somebody is foolish, this is the best of the victim. You're getting it? This is what happens. So now what we have to do is that if it's, no, I don't want to be that victim, right? I don't want to be this victim. I should teach him a lesson. The moment I should teach him a lesson means anger has already erupted. Ego has already erupted. Then the whole purpose of your Hindu Dharma is defeated. So there, compassion, love and affection, that should not be compromised. Don't forget it. Never ever. You can deal with the situation very effectively. Never ever give in to anger, hostility, aggression, and so forth. Never ever give in to the anger. In other words, never let go of your compassion. Finally, if there is one treasure within you, that will be really a treasure for you in this life and the next life, that is your compassion and the wisdom. These two are going to be your treasure. Something that you can feel proud of yourself. Something that will guarantee that you are going to have a favorable next life. Only these two things will guarantee. So these two, never ever compromise on these two. These two are so precious. Never compromise compassion. Deep inside, compassion, you never ever let go of the compassion. This is so important. Yet, why you are showing anger towards the other person? Why you are yelling at the other person, shouting at the other person? Expecting something, expecting that the other person will not take advantage of you. Is this the answer? So the person will not take advantage of you anymore in the future. Okay, we can make it very effective. We can make the other person not take advantage of you. Yet your compassion should not be compromised. So this is what you have to learn. You're getting it? See, resorting to anger, this is the last resort. Resorting to anger is the last resort. It destroys others, it destroys yourself. First of all, your virtue is destroyed. Anger is the one which destroys most effectively, it destroys your virtues. Anger. Never give in to anger. Right? And the anger can spontaneously arise in us. But never let it be expressed physically and verbally. The first step. Never let that be expressed physically and verbally. This is so important. Right? Okay. So which is easier to be stopped? Physical and verbal expression of the anger versus the mental experience with anger. Which is easier to be stopped? Physical and verbal, that is easier. You're getting it? So mental is quite, say, the spontaneous. It's not really in our hand. But physical and verbal, for sure we can stop it. Right? If we don't stop that, physical and verbal, then the mental, you can never stop it. And if the mental cannot be stopped, your virtues will perpetually be depleted because of the anger. So the point is, make sure that the physical and verbal, they are stopped. So how to stop that? If you find it very difficult, just you have the urge to verbally say something, of the urge to bang the table. Right? So there, remember what Bodhisattva Shantideva said. Remain like a piece of wood. This is so important message. This is so important message, right? Before we actually deal with this situation effectively, first deal with this anger, right? Deal with your own anger. Remain like a piece of wood. And still, if it is not really happening, go to your room. Leave the person, go to your room. Don't say anything. Don't physically do anything. Don't verbally say anything. Go to your room and lock the door, right? And then take 3 deep breaths, 7 deep breaths. Meanwhile, the anger will subside to a great extent. If you take the deep breaths, just forget everything. Take the deep breaths, and then, if possible, the meditation on the emptiness which we did last time, right? Say the 4 points. You remember? Okay, meditation emptiness. That's this self. I am like a dream. This person is also like a dream, right? So this practice, the 4 points, you remember? Okay, the 4 points, we have to do this practice. Okay, so what are the 4 points? The first one is just think of the self. Yourself. Point 1. Just think of the self. Who's this person? Who's who become a little agitated, uptight now? Okay, the person. Number two. What is this person made of? This person made of the 6 elements. Just the table is made of millions of atoms. None of the atoms is a table. None of the atoms is a table. Likewise, this self is made of the 6 elements. Element of earth, which is all the solid parts. For example, the bone, the flesh, the heart, the lungs, the spleen, the liver. None of the solid part is me. Then the water, element of water, the blood which is pumped out by the heart to different parts of the body, that is also not me. Element of fire, body heat, that's also not me. Element of air, the air that I breathe in and out, that's also not me. Element space, I'm a solid person. The space is vacuum in nature. Even the element space is also not me. The element consciousness. The consciousness, I'm a male, I'm a female. The consciousness or the mind does not have a gender. And people can see me. People cannot see my consciousness. So therefore even the consciousness is also not me. So remove each one of these, then what's left? Nothing is left there. Where is the self who was angry? Where's this person who's angry? It's not there. Just stay in this experience. Stay in this experience. Anger will subside greatly. And let's try and slowly make it a habit. Slowly make it a habit to think like this. Then later on, actually, in the actual event of the anger almost arising, right? You just remind yourself of the 6 elements. Anger will subside. You're getting it? So these are things that we need to take steps. Okay, now with this, the manifest anger, we try to stop. Stop it. Now the question is how to still get a benefit. Get a benefit that the person will stop taking advantage of you. How to make it happen without giving into anger. Right? This is the point. So for that matter, what makes the other person continue to take advantage of you? For 2 reasons. What are the 2 reasons? A person thinks that you are weak. A person thinks that you are foolish. You're getting it? Okay, foolish meaning that you do not know that, right? That you do. Say, for example, I'm taking advantage of you. That you do not know that I'm taking advantage of you, right? As long as you don't know that I'm taking advantage of you, I'll continue to take advantage of you, right? Okay. So for that matter, one thing is, the moment you discover that, you keep a little distance. You keep a little distance from the person. Keep a little distance. Little distance means, oh, the person already knows that I'm taking advantage. So the person already got the message that I'm not a stupid. Right? Keeping distance means I'm not a stupid. In most cases, people think that you don't know that that I am trying to take advantage of you. So the moment they discover that you already know that I'm taking advantage of you or I'm abusing you, the person will stop doing it. In most cases. Now the next is that you're weak. You're getting it? So to tell that you are not weak, right? Don't lose your composure. Don't lose your self-confidence. Weak people, the real sign of weakness is the anger, right? Although you physically, verbally, you don't express anything, but the moment you see the other person, you show ugly face, right? Which means that what is mental it comes out. So you maintain confidence, self-confidence, maintain self-confidence, and when you meet a person, accidentally when you meet a person, say hi and leave. Right? As to just make it as sort of very normal, hi and leave. Meaning that you are very confident, the person sees the confidence in you, it's not the weakness. Earlier, that he was very helpful to me was not because of the weakness. Now he stopped being helpful. You're getting it? Temporarily, you stop that relationship. Keep a little distance, and when you accidentally meet, don't show anger. Physically, verbally, just maintain very normal, right? Without losing your self-confidence. Hi, how are you? Where are you going? And then you leave. Right? So that will tell the person that you are not stupid and that you are not weak. And precisely later on, when the other person is in a difficult situation, that the person really needs help somebody else, you jump and help the person. And again, give a little distance. Then the person will be fascinated, will be amazed to see that, wow, this person earlier, what the person was doing to me was not because of the weakness. It's because of the person's compassion, right? He or she knows how to keep distance. He or she knows how to maintain confidence. You're getting it? But while I really need the help, now the person will take advantage of me now, right? The person should be actually putting me into more difficult situation, but instead he came to help me. Then the person will surrender to you. That surrender is out of respect to you, not out of fear, out of respect. That is very beautiful scenario. So what we do is that you try to practice this. You try to apply this in your life. That's extremely effective. You're getting it? And in your family, if there's a problem, right? In your family, if there's a problem, then they say not talking for too long. This is terrible. Every morning you get up, you don't talk, there's a corrosive feeling coming, right? In a family, the best thing is when there's little kind of conflicts and so forth happening, remaining silent. Maintaining silence is the loudest. This is the most effective. Maintain silence, right? Maintain silence, not losing your confidence. You're getting it? Not losing confidence. And what will be done? Do it, right? And then say the husband and wife, then they say wife not getting food, giving food to the husband. Don't do such things. These are the extremes, right? What the food to be given, and maybe sometimes the husband might be giving food to the wife, whatever, right? Whatever, do it properly, but same, keep silence. With the moment this topic comes up, keep silence. Don't lose your composure, don't lose your confidence, maintain confidence. Then they say, and then where necessary, where the help is required, you jump there to help. You're getting it? So that the love and affection is reflected, yet the unnecessary conflict. Just for small things, people fight, right? Particularly the husband and wife. Just for small things, they fight, right? You said it. And the other person said, no, I didn't say it. Yeah, you said it. I didn't say it. And you said it. It escalates like this. Like auction, right? Yeah, it does happen. I saw that. I'm not just exaggerating. I saw that. I saw that with a very, very, very senior professor. If that is happening with the big professors, right? So what to mention of all others like us? Right? That must be happening just for small things. So two young couple, they came. They were newly married. And particularly the girl, I knew so well. We were Indian. I knew so very young. Got married, and then she and her husband came to see me. And the girl said, "Geshe, please advise us as a new couple." I said, "Don't fight over trivialities. Everything will be okay. Don't fight over trivialities. Small things you disagree, just ignore, right? You do whatever to be done, and then just ignore the differences, right? And otherwise, this thing will happen. And then, say you will feel that, oh, she does not love me, he does not love me. That feeling comes. You're getting it? Then, when that feeling comes, finish. It's very sour relationship. Unless every day you wake up, it's so, with uneasy feeling coming, no point. Okay. Now because it's already 6 o'clock. Okay, so I have the few things, practical things to suggest is that finally, right? Say, we may say that, okay, I'm not really good at this, I'm not really good at that, and so forth. This is not really easy. It's easy being said, but very difficult in real life to enact virtues, and to discard non-virtues is difficult. Okay, so what I would say is, just keep in mind that we are all like a stupa. Keep in mind that each one of us, we are like a stupa. And stupa, are they all beautiful stupas, or they are worn out stupas also? Some are beautiful stupas, some are worn out stupas, right? And if you think that I'm not really competent in any way, just imagine that you are a worn out stupa. Worn out stupa. And the worn out stupa, can this become a golden stupa? Yes, of course, yes. Keep in mind that everything is dependently originated. There's nothing independently there. Everything is dependently originated. The fact that you are a worn out stupa is also because of the dependent origination. Right? Which means that in what way you are worn out stupa? In what way I'm a dependent origination as the worn out stupa? Because stupa means a structure which is made of maybe like 1,000 bricks. When the bricks are worn out, then the stupa appears as worn out. Yes, no? Right? And the bricks are, each individual bricks are not the stupa. But the individual bricks coming together, a structure is formed that is known as stupa. So that stupa is a dependent origination. It comes into origination by dependence on the individual 1,000 individuals, the bricks, worn out bricks. So our job is, if you don't want to remain as a worn out stupa, if you want to become a golden stupa, what we do is that, don't think of overnight you become a golden stupa. Don't imagine, expect that. Remove one brick today. Remove one worn out brick today, replace it with a golden stupa. Golden brick. You're getting it? Still you are not a golden stupa. Doesn't matter. As long as the replacement is happening, removing the worn out brick replacing it with the golden brick. As long as something is happening, this is what guarantees that you will eventually become a golden stupa. That is precious, which means that we have to keep doing something. Keep doing something. Be it small, keep doing something. Right? So for that matter, let's say that if possible, once a month. If possible, once a month. If not, once in 6 months. Right? So you can make friends. Tell each other that we should remind each other at least once in 6 months. Right? Once in 6 months, say, I will make a commitment. I will make a commitment that this day, I will not engage in 10 non-virtuous actions. One day, I'll make sure that I will observe this commitment of not engaging 10 non-virtuous. One day, right? One day or 2 days, total 2 days. 6 months means 6 months, 1 year is going to be 2 days, right? At least. And then see how difficult it is. When you're able to do it, you have already removed one old brick and replace it with a golden brick. That is so precious, right? And then, if you somehow, for some reasons, out of the 10 non-virtuous actions, if you cannot really refrain from all 10 with all your efforts, if you're able to do successfully 4 or 5, and then the remaining 4 or 5, somehow you fail, right? Say you rejoice that at least I strove hard and I succeeded in this. This part is difficult. How to make it happen next time? You're getting it? How to don't feel that, okay, I can't do it even for 1 day in 6 months. No, forget it. This is the greatest failure. This is the greatest failure. You're getting it? So of the 10, if you're able to do with your all efforts and commitment, say that I'm going to do 10, at least 1 day. Even being just 1 day in 6 months, if I cannot do this, I'm so weak. No, I should prove myself strong. You're getting it? Why should I prove myself? Why should I be weak? I should prove myself strong. I should prove myself strong. At least I'll prove that for 1 day out of 6 months. right? The remaining 5 months and the 29 days was fine. I failed, is fine. One day I'll prove, right? And then do it, and then you may not be successful in all 10. You may be successful in like say 5, 6, 7, whatever. Whatever you're successful, rejoice. And some people, they go to the extreme. Either do all 10 or none, 0. That is the indication of the immature people. Experienced people, they will not do like this. Whatever they are successful, they will value that. They will cherish that. They will rejoice in this. And whatever they're not successful, they make a commitment. The next time I will pass the remaining 6, remaining 4, remaining 3. You're getting it? If this much you can do, then slowly your mind will become stronger, stronger, stronger. Then more and more bricks, the old bricks are removed, and then you put the golden bricks, and slowly it will shine. Even Buddha Shakyamuni, you read his biography, the past life biographies. At one point, he was worse than what we are now today. You're getting it? But he discovered that he was the golden stupa, one-out stupa. He discovered that many years ago, and we are discovering today. You're getting, even that discovery is so precious. With this mind, the first step, if possible on a daily basis, always, the morning you wake up, the morning you get up, you include 1 or 2 stanzas of the engaging virtues, and get rid of the refrain from the negative karmas and so forth, and then set in proper motivation, right? Finally, the 2 demons inside, self-grasping and self-centered attitude, these are 2 demons, right? So I'll not give in to these. And then at least there will be virtuous karmas, I'll try my best to embrace. Non-virtuous karmas, I'll try my best. And then don't make it too complicated. In some of the manuals, some of the practice manuals, very complicated things are there. Or when I when I eat food, the mindfulness when I eat food, then say this mantra, and then as well you don't get the mind to relax, right? Okay, that is very good. I don't mean to say don't do it. No, that's not what I'm saying. If you cannot do that, what is said in the text? One point, particularly when I was very young, in my the 20s. In my 20s, I was of that kind, right? Whatever is said in the text, I'm so particular. Then at one point, I saw that it's so daunting. It's so daunting. I cannot really do it. You're getting it? So then there's no point. So what is that take steps. As long as you're taking steps, this is amazing. You're getting it? Take steps. Okay. For that matter, some suggestions. One, say, remember the 10 non-virtuous actions, right? At least remember 10 non-virtuous karmas, and see how much you can refrain from these. 1. Then number 2 is with the virtue. With the virtue, when you are aware. If you are not aware, it's fine. When you are aware, don't ignore. With the virtue, when you're aware, what is, for example, say, okay, now you're so tired, and then, okay, somebody suggested you to, for example, say, to read, say, this book, right? This book, 20 pages a day. You're already very tired, and then they say you're almost dead, and then you remember 20 pages read. Oh, I have to do it. Practically not possible. What is practically not possible? Don't worry too much, right? Don't worry too much. So at least read one. If you are really tired, you have no energy at all, right? You're almost like collapsing, right? Read one stanza. Read one stanza. Oh, my job is done. He said one stanza. My stanza is done. Right? Always do something. One stanza, one page, depending on the energy that you have. Do something. Right? This is very important. Okay. And then say when you start virtues or when you start anything, or dharma practice and so forth, don't start big. Start small. You're getting to be very practical, right? If you start big, it can easily break. You're getting it? Start small. And don't be so keen on HYT. You're getting it? Oh, HYT, this is so precious. I learned that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is going to give. This is the last teaching, the empowerment that He's going to give. I learned that. Otherwise, we're not going to get it. Right? And then after that, commitment is there. Right? Okay, then you come to me, Geshe-la, how can this commitment problem is there? What do you do? No, you did not receive empowerment from me. If you receive empowerment, I said, yes, receive, come. No excuse, come to receive empowerment. I give him empowerment. Then he said, what about the commitment? You can complain to me, right? And at first I said, don't touch HYT, and you touched it. And then you come for the coming problem, you come to me. Right? Okay, so what I'm saying is don't be keen on HYT. Only if you are ready. And you may be wondering, how will I know that I'm ready? The fact that you ask this question, how will I know that I'm ready? You're not ready. If you ask this question to anybody, you don't ask this question to anybody, just, right, say, am I ready? The moment you ask this question, you're not ready. Don't go to HYT. Right? This is best the thing, and that is 100% sure. Right? You don't have to ask anybody. Right? Okay. Then what is more important is, say, the study is taking place in the various centers, and more precisely, from what I know, the two centers, TBC, ABC, the two centers. So these two centers, just see that with the studies that you're doing there, just continue with that. And sometimes you may miss some classes and so forth, and then, okay, I missed these classes, now there's no point. No. Right? You may miss 1 or 2 classes, it's fine. It's fine. Just keep going. Although you miss some classes, it's fine. There are always exceptions there. And those who are doing the Nalanda Master's course, Nalanda Diploma course, of course I'm going to meet you separately. The point is that some of you may not have time to sit for the next meeting. So to make it very quick, that say, if you Nalanda Diploma course, if you miss the earlier classes and you try to catch up with the earlier one, don't worry about that. Try to be on the current classes. The early classes, just keep that aside for the time being. When you have a longer, the holidays, like 3 months gap, you can catch up those. Otherwise, be on the current. Because the benefit is that with the current, whatever we taught earlier, many of them are being repeated. Because repeated, you get the earlier ones as well as you get the fresh one, and then you don't you feel that I'm in the track, that I'm not lagging behind. Okay. Likewise for Nalanda Master's course, they seems like that I got the impression that many, because that they are lagging behind, they feel that, okay, now there's no point. I'm lagging behind. I'm sorry, right? No, the point is, don't worry about that. The purpose is not to test how much you know. This is not the purpose. Purpose is for you to keep learning something. And there are always situations where say you can become sick, you have the urgent responsibilities, and then the many deadlines and so forth. Don't worry about these things. Whatever is there, you try to listen to the current topics. Right, current topics. And keep in mind that if you are really new, and it so happened that you jump to the Nalanda Master's course, now you find it difficult, still we have the Nalanda Diploma course, you can do the Nalanda Diploma course. There, you will know many things. With this, to catch up with Nalanda Master's course is very easy. Without the basic foundation, then to catch up with Nalanda Master's course is a little difficult. Okay. Then the next one is for simplistic point, say our mind is nothing but made of 2 components. Cognitive component and the affective component too. Cognitive meaning the ability to know things. For that matter, see how much you can learn something all the time. See something, how much you can learn something, right? Say with the the ABC centers, whatever programs that you have there. See what you can learn from there, from TBC here, Lamrim, and the science and the philosophy, whatever programs are happening here. See how much you can learn. But be very realistic. You also have your jobs. You also have your jobs. Make sure that you don't go to the extreme. And Singaporeans, generally speaking, I would say that you will not go to such extremes. Sometimes they quit everything and then you jump to one thing. So be very realistic. Don't compromise your job. These things continue. And meanwhile, don't give a total excuse that now with the job I can't do anything. No. Finally, even with the job, with no job, you don't want suffering. If you don't want suffering, you have to study and you have to practice Dharma. And how much Dharma you have to practice? Say like 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day, at least 5 minutes a day. Morning before you go to do your job, just sit like this and do the refuge bodhicitta, recite mantra, ye dharma, dhyata gate gate, and quickly think about the four seals. All composite things impermanent, all contaminant things are suffering nature, everything's nature is selfless, empty and selflessness, transcends sorrows, nirvana. And then quickly, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. And then quickly, the 4 points, that who am I? Then I'm just 6 elements. And then the 2 questions. What I'm seeing, I'm just seeing the 6 elements. Where is this person? This person is not there. Stay there for a while, right? And then come out. Okay, so therefore it's like illusion-like. And then quickly just add 1 stanza of dedication. Then you go to a job. This will not take you even 7 minutes. You're getting it? So this much if you can do on a daily basis. And then later on, if you want to, if you see somebody else who is doing like with a thick book in the bookcase. Right, take book, 2-3 books there, and you have just 2-3 pages there. Right, they have their thick books there. Then you go envious of that. If you want to become thick books, you can do it later, not now. Right, for the time being, 2-3 pages is good enough. Right, start from 2-3 pages. Then as you become more stable with the study and so forth, then slowly grow. Okay, so now the cognitive side, keep growing. And the affective side, deep inside, always effective is the compassion. Effective is compassion. Deep inside, always maintain compassion towards others. Always maintain compassion. Finally, what will give you happiness is the compassion. What will make you fearless is the wisdom of emptiness, the wisdom. What will give you happiness is the compassion. Finally, for your own happiness, because you want happiness, cultivate compassion. Right? This is so important. And at times there may be conflicts happening. Let's say the differences are there. Under such situation, deep inside, don't lose the compassion. And physically, how to act, you can act smart. The methods which we learned in this discussion. Okay. Then and if possible, you select 2, 3, 4 passages on emptiness, on bodhicitta, 2, 3 or 4 passages from this book, right? And then if possible, the red book. The red one is more updated. It has many more additional texts. From this book, from TBC, if you can request the Wenla, then they will so whatever, right? They will order or whatever, or print it here. So the thing is that this book has many important passages. From there, you just slowly browse through and mark some of the passages which you find as very effective for your practice, right? Don't select like 20 passages. Select 4 or 5 stanzas, right? And then when you go in MRT or when you walk to your workplace and then coming back, so during that time you recite the stanzas. You're getting it? Stanza, particularly something to activate your cognitive factor of the mind and the affective factor of the mind. compassion side and the wisdom side, to activate these. You're getting it? So just make sure there's some of these stanzas, they are with you. Okay. Then one thing is that to make sure that this is what we can do. Now there's something which we cannot do. That is what we can decide for the next life. That we cannot do so much. So for that matter, you include that. What you cannot do, you include that in the form of prayer. Prayer meaning one or two the stanzas of prayers. For example, the prayers that are towards the end here. Okay, for example, let's say the one prayer which is one of my favorite ones is the end one, blue, where is this? Throughout my future lifetimes. The red one, 282. The red one, 282. Then the blue one should be 311. The blue 311. 311. Yes, 311. Same. So this stanza, for example, 311, it says, throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of independent origination in particular, even in the course of my life. So include such a powerful stanzas, say, in future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Manjushri, may I always be guided by the Buddha Shakyamuni. So that this prayer is actually said by Lama Tsongkhapa. Very blessed prayer, so that I'll be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origin, particularly even the course of my life. Meaning that may I be able to uphold. Uphold? First, I study, I reflect, I meditate, I get experience. So this is how I uphold for myself. Then whatever I do, I share this with others. So this uphold for others. This way of upholding the teachings. Okay, so like this you can include a stanza in order that in the future lifetimes you'll be continuously connected with the Dharma. Okay, so we'll stop here. Okay, we'll stop here. So I'm extremely grateful that I'm with you, and so as I said earlier, just see how much we can take some steps in terms of the virtues, refrain from 10 known virtues to the best we can, embrace virtues, the 10 virtuous karmas, and then focus on the cognitive factor of the mind, to study and to always maintain compassion always in your mind, right? Okay, so and then to be with good companions, meaning the meeting with or being with, what kind of companions your virtues grow. You feel calm, peaceful, you feel like studying something, you feel like meditating. So who people who are the ones, which group are the ones going with whom, then you feel like meditating, you feel like practicing, you feel like discussion some Dharma topics and so forth. This is known as good companions. Where you meet, you become very heavy, right? Somebody you meet and then you start talking and then it's so negative, you become so heavy, in 5 minutes you feel so tired, right? That is not a good companion. So make sure that you are with good companions. Okay, so with this, this request came from the TBC. I'm very grateful to Jimbala, the founding director of the center, and the president Vinila, then vice president Wenla, and then the secretary Perila, and all the ESCO members of TBC. I'm extremely grateful to all of you. And then for the first 3-day teaching, I know that this is mainly bulldozed by the Vincent Law and the people from the ABC here coming for the teaching. I know that you are the ones who made it happen. So that way, for me personally, it is not that I have great learning, I have great practice, whatever, but at least to meet with people and to share my thoughts which I learned from my teachers, even that much, I feel that it is so much happy moments for myself. So I'm extremely grateful to both the centers and to each and every one of you for spending your time coming to this program, and then spending your time and to take interest in the Dharma. This is so precious. Just continue. One thing is, be happy. That is so important. Be happy, right? And then meanwhile, see how to plan for see long-term happiness on the basis of the study and the practice to the best you can. Okay, so
Dedication prayer.
yes, so this is the temper for the time being. This is the end of the teaching program here. So we will do a dedication. Okay. Page 308. Okay, what we do is that if you can look for the long life prayer of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Okay, with the blue book, where is it? Long life prayer. Okay, it's on page 278. Let us. The red one, the blaze. No, the long. 278. No, that is not one. Okay. It is page 253. Page 253. The longer prayer, the long life prayer of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Page 253 and page 278, the blue one, 278. Okay. So the 3 days plus 2 days, all the virtues, the merits that we accumulated, let us dedicate that the light of the wisdom of emptiness and the light of the bodhicitta, may these two lights flourish in the minds of all human sentient beings, so that the darkness of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude are gone rid off from the minds completely, and that they experience the bounties of happiness eternally. And let us also dedicate the merits thus gathered, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And let us also dedicate the merits thus gathered, that all these great learnings, seeds of great learning, such as Ganden, Sera, Debung, and all the monastic and the nunnery, the study, the universities, monastic and the nunnery universities from the Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, Gelug, and the Chinese tradition, Theravada tradition. May all these traditions and the study centers, the Dharma study centers, may they thrive in the activities of study, reflection, meditation. And may all the great teachers, wherever, from whichever tradition, the Theravada tradition, Chinese Mandarin tradition, and the Tibetan tradition, within Tibetan tradition, Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, Gelug, all these great the teachers who proliferate the teaching on emptiness and bodhicitta, may they have long life and their wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And may I personally dedicate the merits thus gathered, that each one of you who attended this teaching, may each one of you soon find the dawn of the wisdom of emptiness and the bodhicitta within each one of you, so that each one of you becomes such a reliable guide to lead all dear mother sentient beings from the state of darkness to the state of the illumination of the wisdom of emptiness and the bodhicitta. May the teaching on bodhicitta, may the teaching on the wisdom of emptiness flourish in the minds of all dear sentient beings in space, across the space, across the board of space, and across the time, 3 times. May this teaching flourish, and that all the suffering, miseries, tensions, they all dissolve. With that in mind, let's turn to the long-lived prayer of His Holiness Dalai Lama. Om Swasti, O our Gurus and your line of Lamas, for whom we have the deepest gratitude. You who are the repository of the 3 secret powers of body, speech and mind of innumerable Buddhas, who manifest in a miraculous way to each devotee according to his capacity. To you who are wish-fulfilling gems, the source of all virtues and good qualities, we offer our prayers with intense devotion that our protector of the great land of snows, Tenzin Gyatso, upholder of the Dharma, the great ocean, may live for 100 aeons. Pour on him your blessings that his aspirations may be fulfilled. The Dharma Dhatu, the inexpressible reality that pervades all things like the heavens, immaculate, full of great bliss and transcendental wisdom, manifest like a cloud of numberless abodes of the high divinities, the mandalas of the heavenly beings, to all the highly forms of the divine ones, the yidams. We offer our prayers with intense devotion that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the great land of snows, may live for 100 aeons. Pour on him your blessings that his aspirations may be fulfilled. O you numberless Buddhas of the past, present and future, who are the masters of the 10 powers of teachers, whose attributes of perfection, free from defilements and born of realization, are the source of the Buddha activity that appears for all time in the ocean of the suffering of the world. For the sake of all sentient beings, to you we offer our prayers with intense devotion that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the great land of snows, may live for 100 aeons. Pour on him your blessings that his aspirations may be fulfilled. O sacred dharmas of the 3 yanas, which liberate us from the sufferings of the 3 worlds, the jewel treasures of the fully enlightened ones, without impurities, unchanging, eternally good, the peak of virtues, to you we offer our prayers with intense devotion that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the great land of snows, may live for 100 aeons. Pour on him your blessings that his aspirations may be fulfilled. O all you Arya Sangha, awake and unsullied, of highest valor in conquering the suffering of the wheel of life, with a transcendental wisdom that direct intuits the deeper truth, never departing from the indestructible Vajra abode of Nirvana. To you we offer our prayers with intense devotion that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the great land of snows, may live 100 aeons. Pour on him your blessings that his aspirations may be fulfilled. O you Dakas and Dakanis, heavenly beings of the 3 worlds, who appear in the highest paradises, the sacred places, the cremation grounds, who have innumerable experiences of the bliss of the void, supporting yogis in their meditation on the excellent path. To you all we offer our prayers with intense devotion that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the great land of snows, may live for 100 aeons. Pour on him your blessings that his aspirations may be fulfilled. To the ocean of guardians of the teachings who possess the eye of transcendental wisdom, carrying on their metal locks the knot symbolic of the vows they made of Vajradhara Buddha, the powerful ones who protect the teachings of the upholders of Dhamma, we offer you our prayers with intense devotion that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the great land of snows, may live for 100 aeons. Pour on me your blessings that his aspirations may be fulfilled. To all you guileless one in we pray with intense devotion, humbly from our very that by the strength of these verses, Ngawal Nosam Tenzin Gyatso, he who has power over speech, the kindly one, upholder of the Dhamma, the great ocean, he who possesses the 3 sacred powers, may be indestructible, eternal, without end. That seated on the supreme unconquerable throne of the Vajra, he may live for 100 aeons. Pour on him your blessings that his aspirations may be fulfilled. You who bear the burdens of innumerable Buddhas with courage, carrying on their shoulders the vast activities of the full enlightened ones, working for the welfare of all beings like the wish-fulfilling gem, the jewel of the jewels. May your aspirations be perfectly fulfilled. By virtue of this, may the golden era be heralded like a gate to the great space, liberating all sentient beings, coming as the happiness of and helps the teaching of the Buddha to spread in all directions and in all ages, making it prosper to the summit of samsara and nirvana. O you with the lotus in your hand, may the nectar stream of your blessing strengthen our mind and bring it to maturity. May we be able to please you by practicing the Dharma through accomplishing all. May we reach nirvana by the blessings of the wondrous Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by the unassailable truth of the spiritual laws of cause and effect, by the unstained power of the. May the aim of my prayers be accomplished soon. Okay, now the intention prayer on page 308. That is the blue one, blue book, page 308.
280.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Red book is 280 and the blue book 308. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful generous Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. Chanjo samjo rinpoche ma ye ba nam ke gyoro che ke ba nyam ba me ba ya kone kondo pe varai sho. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that has not arisen, arising, grown, arisen, not diminished, but increased forevermore. I dedicate the merits thus gathered towards the realization that is in the prayers of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding of the Dharma of the teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the mind or vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect when the two stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate a mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the portrayal of the Dharma in the beings of Snowland. To the Lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso, we supplicate to you that you wish us to fulfill spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans or non-humans who help our merits through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be truly vanquished through the path of the truth of the three jewels.